Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? Welcome. What's up, Atomic Being? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Loving the piano. Hey, thank you. Me too. I know it's a little later than I normally stream. I'm not going to stream for too long, but I want to work on this project. I'm enjoying this project, and I want to be able to deploy it out into my servers at home and set it up. I was thinking about turning this into a long-form YouTube video because I thought this would take like 1 or 2 streams to build. We're on stream number 7. Now, of course, I get distracted a lot, so if we cut it down, maybe it'll be less content. Maybe it's worth it to make a long-form video where I just talk about the project. I show relevant clips, and then I show myself using it and kind of deep dive into the code a little bit, talk about my architecture, and then say if you want to go watch the entire process, the entire thing was streamed, that's probably the better way to do it. So maybe I'll do something like that. But for now, we got to at least finish this project. It's not even done yet, so. Uncle Cthulhu says, good time of day. All right, well, welcome, welcome. Lots of love to you and your family, sir. Thank you. What a nice thing to say, dude. I appreciate that. You as well. Lots of love to you and your family as well. Yo, what's up, Kronk0321? Love that idea. Awesome. Yeah. I think that's probably the way that makes sense. Because if you're scrolling across my YouTube and you want to watch this, go ahead, watch the VODs. No one's going to stop you. They're all archived there. But if you want to learn more about this service, why I built it, everything that went into it, probably want to just watch a more thorough put together video. Because I imagine make a nice little 15-minute video where I explain it. If you know me, you know it's going to be 45 minutes. Because I don't know, somehow I managed to just shove so much information into these videos. So yeah, we'll see. Who knows? But yeah, let's jump back into it. Because I think where we left off, if I remember correctly, is there's no terminal? Hold on, it does this. I have to do this stupid thing. Hold on. Sometimes OBS just decides to not share my terminal, and I have to remind it that it has a terminal to show. There we go. There we go. I think it's the Mac OS desktop share type of thing. So, yeah. Hi, yo, what's up? What's up? How come when I hover over your message, does it translate it? When I hover over, it just says hi. That's cute. I don't know what that's all about. I watch all the long form YouTube videos, but can't always catch the streams. Yeah, I feel like a lot of my audience is that way. I think I might have some people that just watch the streams and nothing else, which is totally cool. That's awesome. But I think a lot of people they like the long form because they can kind of keep up with it. I understand that too. I think I also, this is not necessarily the case, but I do think it's an age thing. I think the older some people are, I know I'm not sitting down to watch someone stream for 8 hours unless it's a crazy cool thing that I'm hyped about, an event or something. So I totally get that. It seems like the younger generations love just sitting and watching streams, which more power to them, dude. I think it's awesome, man. Good morning, y'all. What's up, Just Crit? How you doing? Yo, Killaboy, how you doing? Hola, senor. You suck at programming. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you as well. I lurk while I work. Hey, that's awesome, man. I welcome the lurkers here. I think the lurkers are awesome. Woke Dude says, I put a shutdown command in my startup script. Had to nuke the file system from the web tools consoles. It sounds ridiculous, like that something like that could even happen, but I've been there too. It's like a series of unfortunate events where like A leads to B and B leads to C, and next thing you know, down the road, you're like, oh, this thing gets fired off every time, and every time it reboots my computer. Like, I gotta fix this thing. So I've been there as well, which is a wild thing to say. All right, so where we left off is we have this program that we can run, and it has a config file, and all this stuff is configurable, which is beautiful. We have the events being cached out to disk, which is beautiful. So we have our events JSON. This is our disk cache. And then while this server is running, we can do a couple different things. We can go over here and we can curl this to get all of the events. This will just be 5 events. Or we can curl event stream to get an SSE stream of all the events. There's a couple things here. I think it might make sense to make it, how do I put this? I think it might make sense to back propagate some of these streams. So like when you connect to the event stream, you should probably get the last X events. Because I'm kind of thinking like, you know, when you run tail-f on a file, you get the last 10 lines. You should get the last X events. And that'll be configurable on the server and stuff like that. So we'll probably need something like that. Let me go ahead and add that to the README to do CLI support posting events. CLI support getting events, CLI support getting event stream supporting backlog of events, something like that. Howdy, you got me a Rust. Hey, welcome, null ref pointer. Oh man. Yeah, I like Rust. Rust is a fun language. I think it's really cool. Hey, it's nice I get your live. I have read a lot that the set EUO is a must to have robust scripts. I hear a few times you don't like that, but I can't get why. Thanks for explaining more why. Yeah, man, no problem. I assume you've seen my video where I talk about set-EUO pipe fail, I think is what everyone sets. And they call it bash strict mode. If anyone doesn't know what they're talking about, I have a video on YouTube where I talk about bash strict mode and why I particularly don't like it. I think it's a good idea. I get what people are trying to do, but like it just, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. But luckily I have a whole long form video where I go into why that is the case. So that's pretty cool. All right, let's do this. Let's start working on the CLI because I think this is going to be a lot of fun here. What do we call the CLI? We just call it events. Well, you know what? Actually, let's toss this in here. Timeout command that gets executed on an event. Limit post size to do maybe event logging task. Would it be nice just to have a task that logs the events to files? Maybe. I'll put that as a maybe. And then, what else was I going to add here? Limit post size, that all makes sense. CLI support for this. Event streaming backlog of events. What was I just going to do? Oh! Better and consistent naming. Should this tool have its own name? Question mark. There we go. I just have a hard time believing in Rust. I think the future of Rust would be a Rust-based linter that transpiles C to Rust to verify your code, and you annotate your C with Rust hints or something. That's very interesting. I can't even imagine what exactly that would look like. I think Rust is cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not here to try and shove it down people's throats or also scare people away from it. We're just coding it because it's fun. I have no idea what the future holds. Yo, what's up, Magic? How you doing? Just run VI instead? What are you talking about? Morning, folks. Woke up to a live stream. Not bad. Hey, that's awesome. Welcome, welcome. Oh, the t-shirt, yeah. The t-shirt's so funny. You wouldn't exit Vim, it's not possible. It's actually on my merch store. It's a design that I came up with. Obviously inspired by the you wouldn't download a car. So go check out merch.ysap.sh. No. ysap.sh/merch. I'm really good. I'm a good content creator and I know how to sell things. I think it, https://ysap.sh/merch. Yeah, ysap.sh/merch. Go there in your browser if you want to get your hands on this t-shirt. I'm really good. I'm really good at advertising what I have. I'm working with Nano. I will gradually go to Vim. That's how I did it, dude. I started with Nano and I ended up on Vim, so I get that. Do I have my socks on? Absolutely. I got my programming socks on. I'm ready to go, man. All right. Let's roll here. We are going to make the CLI better. So we have source bin events. We have this. So what does our CLI do currently? We make a blocking request to localhost 3000 events. So let's come up with a plan of attack here. We could put a to-do list here. And how much did it cost to use that font to an army? That's a great question. So we can make a to-do list here. To do. One. Don't hard code URL. Should this be a config file? Nvar CLI arg combo of all, something like that. I'm thinking I'm probably leaning towards making it an environmental or environment variable that you could pass as a CLI arg, but we'll figure that out. No, I'll just put that there for now. Back when I started with Linux 20 years ago, VI was a standard. Never figured out how to exit, so I just stuck with it. Yeah, dude, you gotta go find the physical computer and just pull the power plug and put it back in. That's how you do it. All right, so let's do this. So the first thing we should do is we want to pull down clap. Clap is the command line argument parser for Rust. Luckily, I did a little mining off screen, and we got the documents pulled up right here. So I've used clap before. This is the feature we want, derive, because this will give us the ability to derive a parser on a struct. So you basically just define a struct of the arguments you want, and then it just kind of does everything for you, which is beautiful. There are other features. We should probably look at what they are, because I think coloring is a feature that matters. So, yeah. But I guess we can take a look. I am to answer your question, Random, I am an escape :WQ type of person. And I actually hit escape. I don't rebind it to caps lock or anything. So I literally, my pinky goes right up to escape :WQ. All right, so let's go ahead and add clap first. Cargo, add clap. Actually, wait, we just have this. Cargo, add clap, -h features, derive. I think there's going to be more features. Oh, it pulls in color by default. Okay, interesting. I like how cargo's a feature. Interesting. Oh, is environment variables like support it? I don't know. It'd be nice if I read documentation and didn't just, assume. But, here we are. Hey, YSAP, can I ask what theme you're using in your terminal? This was probably the default that came with iTerm 2. But if you do want to know more, curl ysap.sh, this is my website, /theme. And this will apply the theme. Actually, just brighten the colors a little bit. So maybe this is not exactly what my theme is. This will apply the theme that I like. And if you want to learn more about that, you can pipe it into like a hex dump. I know this is super lame, but these are all the colors that I use. So you can just go through and figure out exactly what's going on. They're just ANSI escape sequences. So yeah. So that's how I get all these coloration or colorizing, I guess. Typically just hold the power button to exit. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we pulled in clap, right? And we got color with it. So let's do a Vim source. I've used clap a bunch of times, so I think it's pretty straightforward, but let's go ahead and just see what they recommend now. You pull in the clap parser, you define this, and then you do your main here. So I think we'll put it all in one file for now. and then we'll think about how we could break this apart. Because we are going to be using subcommands here, so it may make sense to define these structs in different places. But for now, let's just get this code working, then we can clean it all up later. That's how I like to program. There we go. Oh, we have to define it here. Dave's event server CLI client. Version about long about equals none. Yeah. And there we go. Now we make our arguments here. Now I think we want these subcommands though. Let's go ahead and figure out what the usage would look like. I think this would be the way to do it. So let's imagine the CLI usage. We'll call it CLI, but we'll call it whatever we want. Do you use Mac or Windows? This is a Mac that I'm running on. Let's do, I think we want CLI. What's the nomenclature we want to use here? Because we could post an event. I think we should be able to... What nomenclature do we actually want here? Do we want CLI get to get events? I definitely want CLI tail. I want to be able to say tail minus F events and have it do a live stream of events. Do we want CLI create to create an event? I think create might be the nomenclature. Get would make sense to get a single event. Maybe list to list the events. Or maybe we just have tail. Maybe we just do tail and tail minus F for now. Yeah, I think we'll just do CLI tail and CLI create as our subcommands. A project I'd actually pay you for, a CLI file manager that was mouse centric, if it's even possible. I think those exist. I think there are like TUI file managers that you can use the mouse for, but I've never really messed with that. All right, so let's do this. Oh, you guys hear my toilet going? I haven't fixed my toilet yet, so it just, makes that noise every couple hours. Really, really cool. Popped into the background listen, but I hope you're having a good day. Your Outside Philosophy YouTube shorts have been fire. Dude, I appreciate you saying that. That's so nice. I've always done the outside videos for my short form content, especially on like Instagram, stuff like that. But only recently did I decide, you know what, I'm going to talk about this for a while, so I'm just going to record myself outside and make it a long form video. So my previous video was like 13 minutes long and I'm just yapping outside. And that has been received incredibly well. Now, don't worry, I'm going to keep making tech content. I really, really enjoy tech content. I'm not going to stop that, but I'm thinking about adding more yapping / philosophy style videos just because I enjoy them. They're fun. And honestly, they're easier to make than this stuff than showing the tech stuff. So it'd be nice to be able to intermix some of that stuff. And then fast forward 2 years and I'll be reacting to news slop or whatever you're supposed to do. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's figure out this out. We got to use the subcommands. I remember there being, so there's only one subcommand thing down here. And when it goes in the trait, it just kind of describes it. But I remember there being an example. So I want to do this. There's a derive tutorial and derive reference. I want to say subcommand was here. Yeah. There's got to be, okay, hold on. Let's go to the repo real quick. I think there's examples, right? Yeah, okay. The repo has examples. This will just make our life so much easier because I remember following one specifically. Tutorial derived. Maybe it's in the tutorial. Yeah, because I want to say the example recreated like git. Yeah, like git add. Okay. Okay, interesting. You can always talk and add a terminal in later if that's needed. That's true. I don't do that as often as I should, but I could definitely just talk and throw in things later. Because normally, if you guys watch me, I'm recording here, so I can pull up exactly what I want to talk about. I almost have to rarely add things in post, but I don't mind editing videos. It's actually kind of fun. Philosophy would be cool. You've got the beard for it. Thank you, thank you. Yapping is why sapping without the suck, dude. For real, though. Absolutely for real. Can we request an event? Is that a thing? That is not currently a thing right now. Even though events have UUID, we don't have an interface for getting an event by UUID because we have to change the whole backing store. Not that that can't be a thing that we add later, just in its current iteration, we don't have that. So I feel like if we did have that, that would make sense to have the get subcommand. But let's go ahead and pull in some of this stuff. So we want to make a subcommand. I think I understand how to do this. Yo, what up, Salamander? How you doing? Dude, okay. Random, I see your message. I don't know if it showed up or not. I'm going to allow it on Twitch. Twitch didn't like your message because it had "you suck" in it. The amount of messages that get held for moderation because people put "you suck" in it is so funny. Yeah, you suck a philosophy channel. Yeah, I don't want to spread myself too thin. I don't want to have like 8,000 different channels that you guys have to look up. But if I ever got really weird with it, yeah, definitely. Like I do have a separate channel where I post my music content on. I haven't uploaded to there in a long time, so you're not missing out on anything. But yeah. I just had a look at the merch and I like the You Suck at Programming stuff too. Hey, that's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's going to get an overhaul soon. I've worked with a couple different designers. I have 2 new designs that are going up. I want to overhaul a bunch of it and get some more stuff. So got to figure that out. But yeah, so right now I like some of the designs, but there's going to be more. So look forward to that. I'll let you guys know when that happens. Yo, Kilobyte 808. Thank you for the great content. Appreciate that. Thank you for the 100 bits, dude. That's awesome. I just went to drink my water. The cap is on. I like how You Suck at Programming, You Suck at Piano, and You Suck at Philosophy are all YSAP. Why write a web server backend in Rust when you can write it as a Google Sheets app script extension? Brother, that is a crazy question. I respect the hell out of you. That is some cursed stuff. Why even write a database at all? Honestly, we could just embed data into QR codes and then use FFmpeg to turn all those QR codes into a video and then upload it to YouTube. Although I actually think that breaks their TOS, but you know. Can I say "you suck" on YouTube? I'm not sure. You guys are quoting it. Maybe that gets around the AI detection. I have no idea, honestly. I don't know what's allowed and what's not allowed. I have my restrictions pretty loose on both channels. I don't want it the whole things because, oh man, you guys wouldn't even believe it. The amount of YouTube comments that used to get held because people put code examples in. And it was just like, oh, this must be spam. Like, it's not spam. They're just putting code examples in. Like, let that through. Oh my God. It's gnarly, man. All right. So we have our struct args. And then we can do command subcommand. So this is built into Clap. Clap understands this. And the command will be commands, and now we have to create that. So now derive, I'm just looking at the documentation that I have open over here. So now we have to make an enum of commands, and these are the subcommands. So let's say create a new event. I actually think we could put a struct here, and then we could put these arguments more closely tied to the subcommand. If we had subcommands within commands, that might make sense, but for now, I don't think we need to. Oh, wow. Seeing a stream of someone you follow for so long on YouTube feels like meeting a celebrity in real life. Yo, welcome. What an awesome first-time chat, dude. Welcome, welcome. You've been following me on YouTube for a while? That is amazing, because if you look over at Twitch, what do I have, 1,000 followers? I'm not the most famous guy on Twitch, but yeah, I'm over here on a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers. So, yo, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I do wonder if it detects the "you suck at programming" thing just because it is the name of the channel. However, you guys are talking on Twitch, and Twitch actually, I think my name might just be Dave Eddy on Twitch. I don't actually think it has any of the "you suck" stuff in it, so I'm not really sure. All right. So our create subcommand, if we want to create a command, we need a level. Oh, we haven't figured that out, have we? The description is, yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Dave, and you suck at programming, though. Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair. Good call. Hey, I love your videos. Taught me a lot. I'm trying to follow along. Dude, appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. Not gonna lie, I don't know anything about programming. I'm just watching for the vibes. Salamander, that's legit. That's awesome, man. You guys are some of my greatest fans, but you don't even like know that much about programming. You just watch because we're hanging out. Yo, Kenny Orr. Love your content. Keep it up. Yo, appreciate it. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's awesome. Thank you for the super chat on YouTube, dude. Appreciate it. Dude, you guys are awesome. You guys don't have to donate, but you do, and I think that's dope. So I appreciate it a ton, dude. You guys are awesome. Why are you guys writing assembly in the Twitch chat? Let's go back here. So tail, we'll take a -f, and create, we'll take a tail, we'll take a -f. Create, we'll take a -- component equals. No, that's required. Component will be required unless we want to just default it to CLI. Nah, we'll make it. Kind of like it being optional, actually. Component. Default level be info. And what else can you give it? Message and data. Maybe we'll take data. We'll worry about that later. Yeah, component, level, and message. So I'll figure out how to actually do that. Not sure if I feel old or a keeper of ancient secrets. Dude, I feel that way now when I make programming content, and a lot of the people that watch are very young, and it's like blowing my mind. They're like, this dude knows the ancient tricks. I'm like, dude, the stuff I know is not even close to ancient. You guys are crazy. Do you mainly program in a minimal Vim setup? Follow up your... yeah. So yes, I do. How you guys see me programming right here is literally how I program. The only difference is I'm on my laptop, usually not at this desktop. This is like exactly how I program what you guys are seeing. Normally there's music, I'm not talking out loud, but it's pretty similar. I haven't used NeoVim. I've just had no reason to. Like vanilla Vim just works fine for me. Do you know the CPAN CLI? Isn't that is that the Perl? The Perl like libraries or whatever? So yeah. Yeah, the open and close square bracket in like usage messages typically means optional. So like if I were to man cat, you can see that these are in that. They are optional. They are not required. I think if I were to man something like man test, there's nothing around them. The expression is actually required. You'll sometimes see the open and close angle brackets when something is required. But yeah, these like cache is an example of something that's like required there. But like in this case, these options are optional. So that's typically what you'll see. VI is just badly configured Vim anyway. Yeah, and on some systems, SH is actually just bash in POSIX mode. Not that I'm against that, but it's just funny how that works. Hey man, I love your content. Was laid off last month for my job as a senior software engineer. Been wanting to look into your bash course to up my bash skills. Hey man, thank you so much. Appreciate that compliment. I'm so sorry you were laid off. That sucks. like I quit my job last month, so anyone from the outside would be like, oh, they're in the same position. But when you decide to leave a place and when you're laid off, it's a completely different vibe. So that sucks, man. Sorry you went through that. But if you want to go for the bash course, hey, man, I'm a fan of it. I think I did a great job with it, and it's free. What other motivation do you need? It's so funny because I actually think psychologically, okay, hear me out. Just trust me on this one. I think psychologically, if I charged for the course, if it wasn't free, if I charged, even if I put like a $5 fee into it, I think that barrier would actually make people more inspired who bought it to take the course and not be lazy about it. I'm not calling you lazy, by the way. I'm not talking to that chatter specifically. I'm just talking about the psychology behind putting a paywall in front of something is very interesting. Luckily, I don't care about any of that stuff, so I'm just glad it's free and you guys can go check it out. I usually just put a heavy sigh in my usage function. That's how I feel. Dude, I mean, yeah, I get that. All right. So in order to create something, we are going to take a... But then how do we... I don't like this. Let me try this. Wait, but then how do you... Oh, we'll figure this out. I'm making up syntax, okay? Burn the late night oil? Absolutely. Caught JK. I signed up for the Patreon. You signed up for my Patreon? If you did, that's awesome. Feel free to put ANSI escape sequences in your name because that's what some people have been doing, which is wild and actually hilarious. Create a new event. View or stream recent events. And this will be the tail command. I feel like tail should be an alias. But whatever. We can worry about names later. So now I can do this. I don't actually know what to do here. I don't know exactly what to derive here, but we'll just make it up. I think if I try to compile this, it'll yell at me. Derive command. Okay. I'll look at this in a second. Did you share the code on GitHub or somewhere or not planned? It is shared. Yes, it is. The code is shared on GitHub. I should probably put in like the description stuff, but here it is on GitHub. You can feel free to take a look at it. I have a commit for every day that we've worked on this. That's definitely a thing. I help organize a conference and putting a small fee on the network event dramatically increases the number of people who showed up versus signed up. Yes, like it's so interesting how that works. Like I like releasing my stuff for free and that's why I'm going to do it. But I know that there is psychology around a paywall, even if it's $1. That just makes people act so differently. So it's skin in the game. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. Like you've put some, like you had to earn that dollar. You put some time and effort into it. So you had to put some time and effort to do X. And that just, it makes you feel more connected to it. I almost feel like it should conceptually be one command for get events, which would be any range, including most recent, and another for stream events, which could optionally start with the most recent or any future events. That's cleaner than recent events, optionally also future events commands, I think. Yeah, I agree with that. At a previous job, the interface I had come up with was like events list, and this would give it to you in like ascending order. It'll give it to you in one order. And with this, this would just get historical events. So I could give it a time range, like, you know, January through February. I'm making up syntax, but like I could give it a time range and it would give me those events. But then there was events tail or events stream. I think they were aliases for each other. This is where you would get them in order of the newest being at the bottom. And you could say -F, which gave you the new thing, but you could also do like -N 200. So this gave you the 200 previous ones, like you're running the tail command. So I definitely think there's something to that. I've recently joined the saga, so not fully up to speed on the functionality, but the tail command for one read and -F continuously feels off. Yeah, I can understand that, especially because they're two separate endpoints, like curl localhost events and event stream. So I completely understand that. I paid my dollar. I'm going to get my money's worth. Yeah, exactly. Feels good watching people code rather than just talk to Claude. Yeah, especially like if I'm going to be entertaining you guys, I should probably be coding something, you know? So I get that. So let's do this. What's the plan of this project? I don't get the idea. I can't explain it right now. It'd take too long to dive in. Maybe someone else in the chat can give you the quick like synopsis of it because I'm really bad at doing that. My brain is too focused into let's get this working. This is very similar to MQTT. Very, very similar. In fact, I have MQTT at my house running, which is really, really funny. I've been watching some of your stuff for a little bit, mostly shorts, but it's helped me with some of my scripting and stuff. Thank you. Dude, Cooper Owens, thank you so much. What a nice thing to say. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. That's legit. What was the failure to compile here? You know what it is? I just didn't pull it in, did I? Yeah, I probably should pull in subcommand here, right? Maybe even command? Although that might clash with... That might clash with process command. Yeah, they clash. You know what? I don't even want to deal with the clash. Let's do this. Let's make arguments args.rs. There we go. There we go. Now we can just do something like this, like function pub fun. Actually, no, we just had the argument struck. That's good enough. Okay, now we can figure it out without having to without having to deal with the clashing namespaces. Yeah, let me go delete that from main then. I don't think command is right, but we'll figure it out. Oh yeah, I could just access it with the clap namespace. That's so true. Yeah, let's see. I've been watching your stuff for a little bit. Nope, I already read that comment out loud. What do you think of vectors in the VRAM to learn and train with a few LMs? I have no idea what any of that stuff is. I love Rust compilers. Dude, me too. Yo, hi from Indonesia, Dave. Always love your comment. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. That's super nice. I'm going to try and pronounce your name. I'm going to butcher it, dude. Anang Gary Sol. I can't even say that out loud. It's going to sound bad if I say it. Dude, I'm so sorry for butchering your name. But, dude, I appreciate that super chat, man. That's super dope, dude. Awesome. I'm so glad you love the content. And if you want to help me pronounce your name, I will gladly do it for you. But I will butcher it and you will hate it. You might be missing derived feature for... I'm not. We installed it with that. Hi Dave, how you doing? What's up, Lucky Steel? How you doing? Not too bad, man. We're hanging in there. Escape 8M just because I feel like a prankster. Oh man. You guys and your escape sequences. What is the issue here, though? What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here? I don't think this command thing is right. Do I just do parser on this? That seems too much, right? I don't think they should be parser. And these should all be debug. If I'm going to make one debug, I should definitely make them all debug. Dave, I've been looking at Zig recently as a system programming language. Any thoughts? Never used it. I have no thoughts on it. Like I've just never used it. So yeah. Yeah, Ego Trip, you're third, definitely. Why Rust over something like Go or C++? I'm just more comfortable in Rust. That's it. Yo, what's up, Dave? Hi. Yo, hello. Oh, hey, that worked. It worked, but I don't think it's gonna work at runtime. I think something's gonna break at runtime. So let's try this. Oh yeah, wait, the main function is the server. This does not need to pull in args. Yeah, that does not need to be in the server. That needs to be in the CLI. Do I put it here? Like this? That's correct. Okay. This looks good. That's not what I wanted. How are both these servers listening on port 3000? How in the world would that work? This one responded and this one just didn't. This one just being lied to by Mac? That's super weird. Not found. Is it because it's in... I don't know. Been learning NASM assembly for the past 3 days. I still can't write a factorial program. Seeing some Rust is blessing my eyes. Listen, man, assembly is a wild thing. I spent a long time doing a 6502 assembly. It's a ton of fun. I love it. But yeah, sometimes looking at like a programming language that has like loops and control flow, like with functions and subroutines, just looks so much nicer. It's been a little while since I've done clap, but I think they just all derive subcommand except for the main args doing the parsing. Yeah, I would think that too. I think you're right with that one. All right. We derive parser here. Could we just do this? And then this could just call like this. That does work. Okay, cool. So we don't have to pull in the parser trait that we're doing. Yeah, I don't think this should be parser. Let's just try subcommand. I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right about this. I don't think it's supposed to be parser either, because I don't think they all should be parsing. Okay. This looks good. Let's run it with tail. Oh, well, it just successfully parsed. So command was tail. That's good. And let's run it with create. Cool. Great. Awesome. How do we get color? Does it consider this color even though it's just bold and underlined? Because that's barely color. Does it consider just the bolding and underline to be the color? It's not really... It's not really what I'd expect. Ooh, an anonymous gifter just gave Rust Rocks a tier 1 sub. Dude, thank you, anonymous gifter. That's super cool. And Rust Rocks, what a cool username. I feel like there should be more to color here, but whatever. The ARG shouldn't be in the library. What am I doing? I'm stupid. The ARG should not be in the library. They should be in the CLI code itself. Yeah, what am I doing? There we go. Okay, so create, they both just run this. Okay. So it is args, which has a command, and the command is the enum. So we have to pull that out of it. So we have to match on args.command. Okay. Simple enough. Like this. And then this could run args : that's not right. Commands : create. And this has a create command inside of it. And this should run the block of code to create. So let's go ahead and make a function for that. There we go. This looks good. There we go. I think this will work. Beautiful. Okay, perfect. Awesome. There we go. Okay, beautiful. So if I understand correctly, we are working on adding command line interface arguments or command customizations for how the system log will present the server logs. No, I'm not doing anything with syslog itself. This is just a syslog-inspired process or program that I'm working on. We are making a CLI tool to connect to the server that we already wrote, which will display events or create new events. Look for something called styles in builders. Oh, okay, interesting. Styles. Oh, you can actually configure it all yourself. Okay, I see. That's what I'm looking at here. All right. We'll figure this out eventually. I don't care about the color stuff right now. I was just surprised that it wasn't more colorful out of the box. I've never looked at the Rust code before. Kind of reminds me of a mix of C++ and TypeScript, question mark? Not really sure what the question mark's for, if it reminds you of something. I don't know if it reminds you of that. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I've never seen syntax like it before. There are other languages that remind me of, but one of the things that helped me personally was realizing like it kind of just is its own unique thing that like I've never really seen before. I know that sounds kind of lame, but like that's what helped me understand it. All right. If we're going to create a command, then we will need the component name, which I think is option, right? Value. I don't know. Let me pull up the derived tutorial. Arg. Okay. Yeah. Good thing I didn't make it up. Short, long, value name equals this. We need a default value t, I think. So the component name will derive, no, we'll call argon, and it will have a short, long, and value name equals, well, actually, we probably don't need to specify. It probably just knows, right? And then can we do, I think it's default value t. Thanks for streaking. Do you mean streaming? Definitely not streaking. Dude, I know the result with that stupid type and then the okay with that stupid type in there, it's ugly to me too. Expected string found stir? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, it's just default value. That's fine. So then if I run create -h, okay, we have component name, default CLI. Hey, that's awesome. Definitely need to add some color to this. I don't like the bold and the underline. That's super boring on its own. Component name, we need to pull in the levels here. For now, let's just use, because we have an enum of levels, let's just use a string for now. With a to do, this should use the library's enum. And I don't think I put anything here because this just needs to be the first argument then. Yeah, thank you for streaming. I figured that's what you meant. Component, level, and help. Beautiful. Rust seems really cool, but I can never learn it. It takes a lot of time to learn. It takes a lot of like dedication, actually. That's what I find. You have to really be like, I want to learn this. Let's go ahead and let's just get the tail command working because that'd be super useful. In fact, I think it already kind of is working low-key. Thanks for your time, Dave. I have to go now, but you have great content videos and I've learned a lot with them. I improved many scripts inspired by your videos. Regards from Nicaragua, Central America. Dude, appreciate it. What a nice thing to say, man. Have a good night. Thank you so much, dude. That's a super nice comment to receive, man. That's awesome. Yo, K-Croc says good night. Yo, have a good night, man. Request? Yeah, we're using request for the HTTP client. We'll decide how to format the events later. We'll probably make a to-do event should implement display. So we shouldn't have to do it. Maybe it'll be done as part of the event itself. So yeah. Yeah, it's the name of the library. That's why it's called request. It's not a variable that I came up with. I actually used your maybe don't use set EUO pipe fail video at work recently due to some people falling prey to exactly the pitfalls you outlined. Dude, that's awesome, man. That's so cool. That's so cool. When did you learn Rust? Probably like around 2020-ish, I think. 2020, 2021, maybe sometime around there. I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong. There's a ton here. I think it's going to yell at me for trying to print event.level. Yeah. There we go. Let's go ahead and tail. Hey, look, there's our events. They're not super pretty, but there are our events. They are there. We have them. So that's kind of huge. That is actually huge. All right, so let's figure out how to actually make a post request. Just finished the basics, moving up. Dude, that's awesome, man. It's a really fun language. I really, really like it. Oh, so post just has a .json. Okay, that is super simple then. We're gonna do a pro gamer move here. We're gonna copy and paste some code. We're going to copy this create event payload. And we're going to put it in the actual CLI itself. But for now, we're just going to pull it here. Component. And we need to be able to serialize this because we are going to be sending this up. Oh, this sucks. All right. This is super, super lame, but we're just getting this working. So, yeah. It's good to see some real coding sessions without AI. Dude, I get that comment a lot. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. That's super cool. Dave, it's late. You should sleep low. Bro, listen, man. I'm already slurring my words, so yeah, I probably should. Was able to get a job working in Rust a couple months ago and have been loving using it more than just my personal hobby project. Dude, that's so cool, man. Man, using Rust in like a professional context is so cool. You're getting paid to write a language that's just actually like fun to write. So that's awesome, man. All right, so we'll say let body equals create event payload. and we will make that here. The component will be the command dot component. The level will be the command dot level, and the message will be the command dot message. Super simple. So now we have that. We just need to go here. Let's change this to event, and let's change this to event, and let's do a request blocking post to events. And we have a .json, but this is going to take an argument, and the argument we're going to give it is the body. So this will actually, I think you do a .send. I'm looking at the docs in the other window. We'll see if that actually does something here. I expect something to break here. Here we go. Not found in request blocking. Let me look up the request blocking. We might have to use the async variants. Mostly COBOL and Java. Yeah, dude, sneak some Rust in there, man. If you can, of course. So maybe we don't need the blocking. Maybe we don't want the blocking interface. But there's got to be a way to do a post, right? Yeah. Oh, you have to make a... Okay. I have to use a request builder? I have to build a new client. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I guess there's just no convenient method for that, convenience method for that, so that's fine. Let client equals request blocking client new. Let event equals request client dot post. Dot body. It might yell at me here. We'll see what happens. Expected event found response. Do I have to then get the body out of it? Like this? Oh my god, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but this is just really hard to read. Oh yeah, okay. Beautiful. There we go. That looks nicer. It still looks bad, but that looks nicer. Apparently Clasp, I think you mean Clap, got rid of colors because someone was worried that it might clash with your terminal's theme colors or what colors might have built into your app. Sure, but like give me some sane defaults. I think something a little bit more than bold and underline would be appreciated. Just let me change them. Like who cares? I don't know. I don't know the reason though. Man, I just stumbled in, but loving it. Def gonna have to binge your channel. Awesome. Thanks for making great content. Dude, thank you so much. That's awesome, dude. I hope you enjoy the content. So yeah. All right. So now we can say created event. We'll come up with a better interface for this, but you know, hey. So now we have a create subcommand. Let's see if this actually works. There's our tail command. That's beautiful. Let's go ahead and create. It'll yell at us because we need a message. Let's give it a message. Hello world, you guys ready? This is a moment of truth. We're gonna run our CLI tool and we're gonna give it the create subcommand with the argument hello world. And it worked. Created event. It gave us a unique ID, a UUID v7, a timestamp, a component here was CLI, that's default. Info was default. Data was null, and hello world was the message. We can see over here on the server, it went through its whole song and dance. Now if we were to run the tail sub command, there we go. Look, it was the last message that was received. That is huge. That's amazing. So we could create another one like, this is another message, LOL. And then if we run the tail, we can see that, oh look, it's in order. That's beautiful. We could even put the timestamp if we wanted to, but for now, that's amazing. We could do -- component equals foo, -- level equals worn, and then we could put a message like, this is custom. And then if we run tail, we can see, look, foo over here with worn, this is custom. That is huge. Let's try one more thing. You guys ready? Create is this bold? Will this work? We'll find out. We saved it with the null byte, or not the null byte, sorry, the escape character. So it's stored in there with the escape character. If we go under a CLI over here, we can see, okay, like nothing. Oh, look, is this bold? Let's go ahead and run tail. There we go. Look at this. Is this bold? Yes, we were able to make it bold. Is this red? And we can make it 31M. So we don't do any sanitization on it. I don't think we should, but look how fun that is. Let me catch up on chat, but this is a huge moment right here. Hey Dave, I love your content. I left some Tmux help for you on your most recent video. I love your content, man, and you have me wanting to learn Rust too. Dude, thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, I think there was one stream where I was like really messing with Tmux. I couldn't get it to resize the stupid pane. I've done it a bunch of times in the past, but for some reason my muscle memory was not helping me. So I wonder if that's what you're referring to, because that'd be kind of funny if you are. Live stream video, I think it was day 6. I left a comment with the commands. Okay, cool. Awesome. Is it the commands I'm talking about? That'd be so funny if it was. Let's go. Yes, exactly. Your brain's not big enough for the Rust type. Yeah, dude. I mean, your name's Small Knight, so I totally understand it. Yeah, I should probably check out Zig. I get a lot of comments. Are components just strings, or are they like required? They're just strings. They're literally just strings. I could have called it source. I could have called it program. I just want to put like, we can change the name component, but it's literally like, I imagine component would be like Nakio sent this alert. This server running this program sent this alert. Maybe I should put host name in there too. I have no idea. What if you made the body markdown instead of plain text, or like optionally markdown? The message content, I wouldn't put markdown there. I mean, you could just put markdown in there, but I don't know if you've caught up on the other streams or if you're following them at all. I also allow arbitrary JSON data there. I don't have it implemented. I'll probably implement it like where you could do like create-d data.json and the message like C attached body, and then it will run with the -d argument. I haven't implemented this, but be able to attach arbitrary JSON with the engineer. On the other hand, part of me wants to over-engineer this. So like the log entry stores enough data for a localization framework to retranslate into other languages. Yeah, that's completely outside of the scope of this project. We're just storing strings. What you do with them as a consumer, totally up to you. If you want your strings to be meaningful to you, that's totally cool. If you wanted to have your message be some markdown and then some data that says markdown : true, and then you write a parser that looks for that, totally able to do that. Need to hold the control B and then arrow keys to move the pane. You have to hold it down. Is that what I was doing wrong? I just completely went to a different pane. It's not quite working. Might be possible, but you know, my Mac OS keybinds are kicking in here. Nah, I'll have to figure it out because it's just not working for me. Alt arrow. Ha! That's what I wanted, but it's a big jump. Wonder if there's a way to do a smaller jump, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I would have wanted. Interesting. I'll have to mess around with that. Either way, this is huge. Look at this. We can run tail on it, and there we go. And if we look at events.json, they should be stored in there. And look, they even escape that properly. That's really cool. So this is huge. This is beautiful. We have the basics of the CLI implemented. Now, there's still more to do. Obviously, we need the event stream. We need SSE support. So we're getting there, but let's go ahead and knock this off the list. We can create events. We can get events. We can't get the event stream. But that is huge. Cargo format, cargo Clippy. Does it do the CLI by default? Do I have to do this? All right. I think I'll call it here. What's today? Day 7. Yeah, this is some really good progress. All right. So the server has been updated to, well, actually, I don't think anything with the server has been updated. We now have a CLI that can create events and it can get those events back. We still need the live stream. We still need to get old events. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, but this is really good progress. So I'm going to call it here for a night. I think this was a good, successful stream, a little bit over an hour. How fun. And yeah, if you're watching on Twitch and you like what you see, go ahead and hit that follow button. If you're watching on YouTube and you like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I might even have the chat still in subscriber only mode. We were getting spammed last live stream. It was super annoying. So that's the only reason for that. I don't plan on keeping the chat on sub only mode forever, but I just want to make sure that spam stuff dies down or whatever. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm going to call it a night here. And yeah, I'm working on a cool video. If you guys made it this far, you're one of my super fans. The next video I'm currently working on is a deep dive. I did a video in the past where I did a deep dive into inodes and file systems and stuff like that. The next video I'm working on doesn't mean the next one will be uploaded, but just the next big video I'm working on is a deep dive into file descriptors, and it gets real fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. You need mods? I probably do need mods. Honestly, I probably do need mods because I'm just becoming a bigger content creator and I enjoy streaming. So I'll have to figure that out eventually. But for now, we're going to call it a night here. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Control arrow key for one movement. Hold on. I'm going to try that real quick. It doesn't work because my control arrow key is macOS steals that. So I don't know if that's going to work. You know what I mean? Yeah, macOS might be stealing that, so that's my only concern. Sorry, guys. I'm so good at saying I'm going to end stream, and then I end up just get completely sidetracked by you guys sending messages, so that's really funny. I'm super bad at it. All right. Yep. Calling it here. Calling it here. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching the stream. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, tell your friends about You Suck at Programming. Everyone should be subscribed. I have 67 concurrent viewers, 67 on YouTube. That's awesome. All right, 44 on Twitch. That's like a record. Hell yeah. All right, I'm going to call it here. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.